Hello everyone, I welcome everyone to this new video. Today we are going to talk about general science. In general science section we are going to talk about articles and prepositions. Okay. Before starting the video, I want to tell few things. Okay. See, in previous videos I have covered subjective type. Okay. Subjective type, that is essay and report writing. Okay, and this essay and report writing consist of total 40 mark. Okay, so you are out of 130, 40 mark is done. So now, why I have done this English portion at first? Because essay writing, report writing, it is a skill, and you cannot acquire this skill day before your exam. Okay, one night before your exam you cannot. So to develop that skill you need time. So this is the right time to develop this skill, because you have sufficient time before your SI-Excise examination. So in this time what you should do, you should start practicing writing essay, report, collecting the datas, and also developing some templates, okay, which you can use in the examination. So if you don't practice now, if you don't work on this essay and report now, then doing these classes early, it is of no benefit. Okay, it is of no use. So you start practicing essay and report writing. Okay, so essay and report writing is consist of total 40 mark, right? Remaining 15 mark of general English, right? So total 55 mark of English portion. So remaining 15 mark, that is general science. Within this 15 mark we are going to cover article and preposition today. Okay, now within this general science we need to understand what are the different types of questions they have asked or they might ask, okay, in the 2025 examination. So for that, to understand that, we need to analyze the question paper. So in the previous video I have analyzed the question paper. See, after analyzing the question paper I made this, and here see there is a one portion, that is English language and comprehension. So this single paper consists of 11%, right? So this is a very huge portion, so you can't ignore this portion, and this is the very scoring subject, so you should take it as a low hanging fruit. Okay, so now we'll see the split up of this English language and comprehension analysis. Okay, see here, this is English language, right? So in the English language, out of this 15 mark question has been asked from vocab. For example, there are 4 questions from vocab. They are asking question related to synonym, antonyms, okay, also dictionary order, antonym. So see, this synonym, antonym, vocab, this I cannot make videos. I cannot make videos related to this vocab, because this is a very personal thing. Okay, and also if I just make videos taking the notes from the different books, and what I'll do here? Okay, I have no job to do. So better you download PDF, you purchase books related to this vocab thing, and you study by your own. This is self preparation. Okay, self study. So this you will prepare by your own. No one can teach you. You have to learn by your own, by reading books, notes, PDFs, etc., whatever you have. Okay, so this I will not teach you. Next, there has been 4 questions from grammar portion. What are those? preposition article. So these two we will cover today. Okay, preposition and article. Then there are some questions related to verb arrangement. These also I cannot teach you. These are very random questions. So you need to practice yourself this one. Sentence arrangement also PQRST type of question. I can take one session of related to this PQRST type of question, but still it is a very general thing. You should have basic knowledge of general English so that you will be able to do this. No one can teach you in one video, right? Then these idioms and phrases also, these are things that you should learn. Okay, just take PDF, take books, and you read. And how to learn? You don't have to remember and mug up things. No, you do one thing, you just read. For the first time you read just lightly, for the second time you also just read, for the third time you start to mark important idioms, important words, etc. In this way, when you will be done with revision for more than 10 to 12 times, there will be a time then you will realize that you know everything. Okay, you can answer. So that is the level of preparation you should do. Okay, so this is also you will do by your own. Okay, so I will not teach you this. So altogether I am going to teach only article and preposition from general English portion. Rest all the things you should do by your own. No one can teach you in videos. Okay, you take out a standard English grammar book and you just read from that particular book. Okay, also let's go. Now we'll go for articles. Okay, see, articles. Okay, in the articles there are related to article in the examination there are almost 3 to 4 question in each and every examination. So this is very important. Okay, so now we need to understand. See, articles are of two types, right? What are those two types of article? One is indefinite, one is definite, right? By the name itself you can tell that indefinite are those which are non-specific. Okay, they are not talking about a particular specific thing. But definite article by name it says that it is talking about a specific thing, right? Specific thing. Okay, now so you know there are two types of article, indefinite and definite article. In the indefinite type of article, there are two, that is a and n. And in definite type of article, that is one article, that is the. Okay, so now we will study how to use this, when to use this. There are some exception, everything we will study. Next, see, rules for using n means when you will use article n, right? How to use n? There are mainly 3 specific ground where you should use n. Number 1 ground is vowel sounds. Okay, so when you will use n, there are some words starting with vowel sound. Okay, in that situation you will use n. Okay, basically before words beginning with vowel. Now what are vowels? A, E, I, O, U. So words starting with vowel, before those words you will use n, right? For example, an apple. Okay, an egg. Okay, an owl. So this is very basic. Next, n is used when there is a silent h basically before words beginning with silent H. For example, an hour. Okay. Okay, here H is almost silent. Okay. Next, an honorable man. Okay. Then an honest man. Okay, these are the different examples. You should write these examples, okay, in your copy, and while you will be revising at that time, you will be able to recall, so that you can remember, and so that you can recall in the examination. So this was about using an in the words that are starting with H. Okay, silent H. Next. Next is, see, there is a kind of abbreviation starting with vowel like letters. Now, what are vowel like letters? Vowel like letters are those letters that are not vowels but begin with vowel sound. Not vowels, remember this. Not vowels but but begin with begin with vowel sound, right? Okay, now in that case you will use n. For example, let me give you some letters. Okay, F, H, L, M, N, R, S, X. So when you will be pronouncing these letters, the pronunciation of these letters will start from a vowel. For example, M. So before pronouncing M, there is a pronunciation, there is a sound coming, that is like A. So basically A is a vowel. So in this kind of situation also you will use N, right? For example, in before when you will pronounce M, the sound of em is coming, actually em, right? So em. So this e is basically a vowel, so that is why n will be used here. For example of this, an mla, okay, an NCC, an FIR, an X-ray, okay, then an SP, an LEA school, etc. So this is very important, okay. This is very important because there are some exceptions. So in the examination, maximum time they ask question related to this, so you should know this, okay. Remember this thing, okay. Then you will be able to solve question in the examination. So this was for using a, okay. Next we will talk about rules of using article a. How, when we will use article a? See, there are different, there are many examples, there are many situations where you will use a. What are those? I will explain one by one, okay. I have noted down here, I will explain one by one. So first is in sense of one. When we will be talking about, or when we will give a sense of oneness, means single, okay. That time you will use a. For example, he could not speak a word to save himself. So he could not could not speak a word to save himself, right? So here he could not speak a word, okay, a word to save himself. So there is a sense of one, okay. So in this situation you will use a. Next, with one, what does it mean? Since one begin with sound of W, okay. Now you can say, see, when we will talk about one man, suppose, so one is a vowel, so you will say, so before vowel, according to rules in the first article we have seen an article, in that situation we have read that before any vowel, before any vowel you will use n. But here in this case it is an exception. How it is an exception? Here one man, this one is sound like W, so in this case we will use a. So this is a exception, so this is a rule. So you have to remember this one, because in the examination from this section, this using one, they have asked several questions, okay, in several occasions. So you should definitely remember this. For example, one man, okay, 1 rupee, a one man show a 1 rupee note, okay, etc. So this was about one. Next, before consonant sound. Now before words beginning with consonant sound, for example a boy, ठीक है. So boy is a b is a consonant voice, okay. So before this you will use a boy, a box, a dog, etc. Next, vowel with consonant value. See, there are some vowels, for example this one here O sounds like a W, so it is a consonant value, okay. So vowels with consonant value, before vowels with consonant value you will use a. For example, a university, right, a university. A unique article, okay, a unit, a European language. So here everything, a university, a unique article, then a unit, okay, this everything sounds like you, okay. So this you thing, y comes first, so that is why it is a vowel with consonant value, okay. U is a vowel but it sounds like yu, so basically it is a vowel with a consonant value. So this is also very important, you should remember. Questions has been asked from this section, okay. Next, units and rate, okay. For example, rice sells 10 rupees a kilo, okay. Rice sells 10 rupees a kilo. So here it is talking about a kilo. Kilo is a unit, okay, or rate of a measurement. So before that a is used. Next, exclamatory expressions. In exclamatory expression, before singular countable number. For example, what a pretty girl. What a pretty girl. So in this case, it is an exclamatory expression, okay? So before any exclamatory expression, you will use a. Next is single unit. Okay. Now what is this single unit? When two subjects or articles are thought of a single unit. What does it mean? It means when two subject or articles are thought of as a single unit. For example, he was ready with a cup and saucer. He was ready with a cup and saucer. Here if you look at very carefully, you will find that here are two subjects, okay, or two articles are thought of as a single unit. For example, cup and saucer. So basically here cup and saucer are two article. So these two article are used as a single unit. So in this type of situation, you will use a. Understood? Next, when you will talk about quantity phrases. Now what does it mean? When we will talk with certain expression of quantity. For example, a dozen. So here it is sure. This quantity we know it is a dozen. Okay. A couple. Okay. So we know how many couple? A couple. Couple we know couple means male and female or anything. So here we know a particular quantity. So before this quantity phrase also we can use a. Next, unknown person. With a person's name to indicate that the person is perhaps unknown to the person addressed. Suppose someone is in your door. Mr. Roy is at the door. Before Mr. Roy, you will use a because the person is unknown to you. You don't know. Okay. Next is special meal. When you will talk about special meal, with a special meal to celebrate something or someone's honor. Okay. For example, a dinner was arranged to welcome the principal. So before a special meal, a is used. Next, comparison. For example, to make a common noun of a proper noun. Okay. So when we will make a common noun, when we will make a common noun of a proper noun, in that case also you will use a. For example, this man is a second Newton. This is important. This man is a second Newton. So in this case you will see what we are doing. A man, it is a common noun. Making in second Newton is a proper noun. So when we will talk about this type of scenario, when we will be making common noun of a proper noun, in that scenario also we will use a. So this was about article a, use of a. Okay. Next, uses rules for definite article. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, what is definite article? Definite article are the article which are definite in nature, particular in nature. You know, you are talking about this particular thing. Okay, so see, there are few things. When you speak about a particular person or a particular thing, that time we use the boy near the tap is my brother. Okay, now there are some situations we'll talk. Okay, perhaps this is easy one, you will understand. Next, see, number one, specific indication. When we are indicating to a particular person or something, in that scenario we use the. To indicate something specific, the boy near the taps is my brother, so I am talking about that boy particularly, so in that case we will use the. Then when you will represent class, means as a common, for example, the mango is considered the king of fruits, so here mango is a class, so in that case also we will use the. Then geographical names, name of gulfs, river, mountain, okay, islands, etc. So before name of any geographical name you will use the. Now you will not talk about, okay, leave it. Next, holy book. Before holy books, name of holy books, you also use the. For example, the Vedas, the Bible, okay, the Ramcharitra Manas, etc. Then musical instrument, okay. Before musical instrument also you have to use the. For example, the flute, the violin, etc. Then before inventions, okay, inventions also you will use the telephone. Body part, okay, he was wounded in the leg, so you are talking about particular body part, that time you will use the. Then community service, with names of community service, that is the Parsis, the navy, the police. Political parties, the Janta Party, okay, the BJP, etc. Then transportation. Before transportation, you will also the. For example, the Rajdhani Express. Historical context also you will use the Mughal dynasty, the Old Stone Age, etc. Then organization with clubs, foundations, Lion Club, Ford Foundation, etc. Then unique entities, with unique entities like the sun, the moon, the sky. Then superlatives, with superlatives also you will use the. He is the best boy. Okay, so this type of situation also you will use the. Then ordinals, with ordinals, he took the first taxi, you will use the. Comparative degree, with comparative degree, the more they get, the more they want. When you are comparing something with something, in that scenario also you will use the. Next, when you will use adjective as noun, okay, so before that adjective you will use the. For example, the poor need help, so this was the use of the. See, you cannot remember this thing just by reading once. What you will do, you will make your own notes in your copy. After that, you will read that notes multiple times. When you will be done with reading same notes multiple times, 10 to 15 times, after that there will be a situation, you will know everything in your notes. And after that, in that situation, when you will be solving question, you will be able to solve question very easily. So now this was all for article. Now we will move forward to preposition. Now, what is preposition? Okay, so a preposition is a word used with a noun pronoun to show its relation with some other word in a sentence. So basically, a preposition is used to show any relation in a sentence. Now, these preposition have different use. For example, preposition of time usage. So when you will be talking about time, in that scenario, how these prepositions will be used. Now I will discuss one by one. Okay, now I am talking about prepositions of time, right? So first thing that we are going to talk about is at. When you must, many times you will be facing, you may be facing problem related to when to use at, when to use in. Okay, I am at Agartala, I am in Agartala. So what is the exact right thing? So now we'll talk about it. So at is used with a definite point of time. With a definite point of time. For example, definite point of time. For example, I usually get up at 5 o'clock. I usually get up 5 o'clock. So I am talking about particular time. Okay, definite time, 5 o'clock. So in that case, get up at 5 o'clock, right? So this particular thing will tell me to use this at preposition, right? So when we will be talking about definite point of time, that time we will use at. Also, at is used with festivals. For example, he will come at Holi. He will come at Holi. So remember this thing. At is used for a definite point of time and also with festival. Okay. So we are done for at. Next, when to use in. So in is used with parts of the day. Parts of the day. What does it mean? So you can say 5 o'clock is a part of day. No. 5 o'clock is not a part of day. Part of day is like noon, morning, evening, night. Okay. So these things are part of day. So with these things you will use in. Okay. For example, he takes a walk in the afternoon. Okay. He takes a walk in the afternoon. So here you are using in. So in is used with the parts of the day. Here there is an exception. You should definitely remember this because this is very important. Okay. This noon thing, before using noon, at is used. Okay. Only noon, but not afternoon. See here, before afternoon I have used in. But when you will be talking about noon, at is used. So this is an exception you should remember. Next, in with future tense referring to the period. Now what does it mean? In the future tense referring to the period in which action may take place. So basically in future tense, you must be careful in future. You must be careful in future. So in this future thing also you will use in. So in will be used with the parts of the day except noon and with future tense. That's it. Okay. Now on. When to use on? So on will be used with days and dates. Okay. For example, my brother will arrive on Monday, not in Monday, at Monday. Remember this. So on will be used with days and dates. Okay. Next, by. By refers to the latest time. Means latest time you are talking about, at which an action will be over. For example, latest time at which an action will be over. For example, the examination will be over by 5 p.m. The examination will be over by 5 p.m. Right? So these examination when will be over by 5 p.m. So you are talking about this latest time. So that time you will use by. Next, when to use for. For is used for duration of time. Okay. Also for perfect continuous tense. Okay. For example, I have been here for 3 days. I have been here for 3 days. So I have been here. Okay, I am still here. So it is a perfect continuous tense. I am starting from past. I am still today. I am here. So it is a perfect continuous tense. So in this situation you will use for. Right. For example, I have been here for 3 days. Next, since. Starting point of a time. Suppose you are talking about a past thing. So basically since is used for past tense. Okay, past thing. For example, he has been ill since last Tuesday, last Monday. So basically you are talking about a past thing. So in that scenario you will use since. For you will be used for perfect continuous tense. By you will use for a latest time it is going to be over, that work is going to be over. From is a, from you will use for a starting point in time. For example, the water came from a spring. She came from USA. Basically from refers to the starting point of action. So when that particular action was start. Okay, so remember this thing, this fourth thing, by, for, since, from. Okay, and also this in, at, on. So this preposition of time altogether is very important. Remember each and everything. Make your own notes, revise it well. This is the only way you can learn, otherwise you can't. If you are thinking that before examination, one night before your exam you will read everything and you can deliver in the paper, no, you can't, unless you are a genius. Okay, next, now we'll talk about exploring preposition of position. Okay, so exploring preposition of position, here also we'll see how to use this one. At. So at is used to indicate a specific point of location, as I mentioned in the above also. Okay, he studied at Oxford indicates a specific point. Here also at with a definite point of time. Okay, it here I talked about the preposition of time. Here I will talk about preposition of position. Okay, now at indicates specific point or location. When you will be talking about a particular specific location, particular point, in that scenario you will use at. For example, you are in India. So before India, India is a big place, there is not specific place, so you will use in. But if you are saying I am at Delhi, it means within India, where are you? You are in Delhi. So in that situation you will use at. So basically at indicates a specific point of location. Next is in. It denotes enclosure or containment. What does it mean? Basically it refers to larger area. Okay, for example in India. Okay, he lives in Bombay. Okay, next, between. So basically between is used for two person or two things. When you will be talking about two different thing, person, everything. So these two thing you will use between. Okay. For example, share these sweets between him and me. Okay. Next, among. So among is used when we will be talking about many. Okay, indicates a position within a group. So there the number of population is more than 2. Okay. For example, divide the sweets among 3 boys. Okay. But when it will be reduced to 2, in that situation you will use between. Next, amongst. Among for a group of thing. Okay. Amongst is also used with more than 2 person. Okay, or things, but there is a thing to remember, but before the word which starts with a vowel letter. So there is a word which starts with a vowel letter. For example, divide the sweets among us. Here is a thing. Okay, here is a thing. Now take another example. Divide the sweets among the 3 boys. These are two different things. Divide the sweets among us. See, here it is wrong. Why? Because before this us, you is a vowel. So before this vowel thing, you will use amongst. Okay. Here the T is consonant. So here you will use among. So you should know this thing. So these are the important key things to remember, because in the examination, examiner ask question from these types of exceptions. Okay. Next, when to use above. Above signifies a position higher than something. Okay. For example, the sun rose above the horizon. Okay, we are flying above the clouds. Under basically indicates lower than something. So it is just opposite of above. Okay. Next, below. What does below mean? Below is used for lower than. Means you are talking about below under also. Means at a level that is also lower than under. Okay. So below is similar to under, but can also mean lower in rank. Means basically lower than under. For example, your work is below average. Okay. Next, over. Describe a position covering a crossing something. Covering or crossing something. Okay. Now what does it mean? It is used for vertically above. To remember this, use this vertical thing. Vertically above. So suppose you have a pen stand on your table. So that time you can say your pen stand is over vertical over the table. Okay, you can also say the bathroom is over the kitchen. Next, beneath. Similar to under, it is similar to under but often used to formal context. For example, the ground was slippery beneath her. Okay, so these are the different prepositions related to positions you should know. And remember to learn the exception place. For example, among, when to use among, when to use amongst. Right? Next. Now there are some prepositions related to directions. So when we will talk about directions, that time also some prepositions are used. So we will read those. For example, when to use to. Okay, when to use to. So to is used to express motion from one place to another. So basically it indicates a specific destination or a goal. For example, we walked to the river and back. So we are talking about we walk to the river and back. So here what I am talking that we have went to a particular specific location. After that we have come back. So in this situation to will be used. To is used to express motion from one place to another. So when you will be talking about motion from one place to moving to from when you will be moving from one place to another, in this situation you will use to. Okay, we walk to the river and back, etc. Next, towards. When to use towards. Towards means a direction. Towards when you are talking about towards is basically means a particular direction. Suggest movement in a general direction. For example, he saw me running towards me. So here what is the direction? Direction is me, towards me. Next, into. Okay. So into denotes motion towards the inside of something. See, it is outward. Okay, he is coming towards me in an open field or in room or etc. But when we will be talking about into means it is inside something. Okay, for example, she fell into a ditch. Okay, next, at. So at denotes a specific location or point. Okay, for example, he aimed at the bird. I have already discussed earlier. For. When to use for. For indicates a purpose of destination, or for denotes direction. For example, I will leave for Pune today. So where I will leave for Pune. Okay, so Pune is a direction. Okay, so in this situation we will use for. Then against. Against shows pressure. Okay, suggesting opposition or resistance. Okay, example, she cleaned the edge of her knife against the plate. He leaned against a tree. Okay, so against is basically opposition, or there is something resistance, force. Of. This is very important in exam questions, they ask frequently. Of. Of implies basically departure or separation. Okay, remember this by separation. Off means separation, cut off, separation. Okay, he was wiping sweat off his face. So basically he was wiping sweat, okay, from his face. So this is a separation from his face. The uh, sweat is off. Next, from. I think discussed. From I have discussed. No. From indicates a origin or starting point. For example, point of departure. For example, the man parted from his friends. So basically they are talking about a particular origin, starting point. So when you will be talking about starting point, in that situation you will use from. To. To will be used to indicate a specific destination or goal. Okay. For example, we walk to the river. For example, we walk to the. Yeah, I have already discussed this. Okay. Next. So this was all for preposition of direction. Okay. Next we will talk about there are some other prepositional meaning, okay, we can use otherwisely. For example, how do we use? Number 1, about. How to use about? About indicates or shows nearness, okay, or proximity. I was about to go to bed when there was a knock at the door. His father is about to retire. So, about to means very closeness, nearness. That time we use about. Next, along. Along represents being in the same line. Okay, suppose I am running at the same time, same pace, another person is also running with me, so he is running along with me. Okay, she led them along the corridor. Next, across. What is across? It signifies moving from one side to another. Suppose it means from one side. He blew a cloud of smoke across the table. She ran across the field. Means from there is a field. So you are running from one position to this position. So basically you are crossing this field. So this is a across. Next, before. Before means it denotes being in front of something. Okay. So it is self-explanatory. For example, the garbage is before the road. Then behind. Behind means at the back of something. Self-explanatory. And beyond. Beyond means it suggests on something further side. For example, it means on the further side. This is beyond his power. Okay. It is far away from me. Beyond. I can't. Okay. Now there are two more. Okay. Beside. Now beside means by the side. By the side. By the side of. So he is beside me means he is beside me. Means he is near me. I sat down beside my wife. And there is beside. There is another besides. So when to use besides? When to use beside? Beside means in addition to. In addition to. Example, he is guilty of 5 killings and more besides. So there may be others. Okay. So that time you use besides. So this was all for article and preposition. So if you study this one, I think 100%, 99 to 100% question you can solve by this notes or by this thing that I have covered today. Now few things to remember. Now in the comments you will be asking for PDF, I know. And what you will do when I will be giving, if I give you the PDF, you will just download it and you will keep in your folder or you will print it out somewhere. Okay. So you will, and thinking about that, you will read before exam. Okay. You have not started yet, but you will start soon. So you will read that time. So for that time, for that particular time, you are collecting things. See, if you want to clear this examination, never ever be a collector of books, PDFs or materials, etc. The as much as materials you will collect, the chance of getting not selecting is higher. See, I have seen my friends, I have seen people collecting everything, each and everything around them, NCERT books, this, that, everything. But at the time of reading, they are not able to decide what to read. So they eventually end up with reading nothing. So eventually they cannot clear the exam. So the best way is when you are seeing this video, you have made your own notes, you make your own notes, you write your own. Okay. If you write by your own, it also makes a pictorial memory and it helps to recall in the exam hall. Okay. So don't ask for PDF. You watch the video, you write your own notes and revise it. Okay. So this was all for preposition and article and for general English. So altogether in general English we have covered in general English and the subjective type total we have covered 55 marks. So this was all for English section. We are done. If you have any doubt, then you can comment in the comment section, and also tell me what subject or which portion I should start next. Okay, from the syllabus or previous year question, you know what are the different subjects are there. So you tell me what is the subject that I should next. And also now I am taking a little break for 1 week almost. Okay, for 1 week there will be no video. Okay, after 1 week I will be start with the new subject. Okay, and that subject you comment in the comment section. Okay, so thank you everyone.